So we have some leaks for the Flash movie coming out in 2023. Now, I always say this, always be careful when you find leaks, especially when it's on Reddit. Typically, they're never right, but because these leaks are getting incredibly popular and it does seem to match up with the trailer or the little trailer that we did get back in DC fandom, I don't really consider it a trailer. I more consider it a sneak peek. We have here a leaked plot summary of The Flash. Now, if you do not want to be spoiled for The Flash 2023, now I don't know if these are true. I cannot confirm this, but there's a potential that these are true. If you do not want to be spoiled, click away and maybe watch this another time. But I will say this: we really can't say these are spoilers because we haven't seen the movie and we don't know if they're true. But anyways, I am going to be reading because there was a test screening. There was a test screening, and this person's claiming that they know, what goes on in the movie, and I'm going to be reading it and giving you my reaction to it. And then it says, let's see where we can go. Main plot elements. Let's just go ahead and read the main plot elements. It says there's 100% a tease for Reverse Flash. When Barry's mom is killed, a yellow figure smiles at Barry and lunges at him. Barry escapes before the yellow figure can get to him. No actor or voice. It's pretty hard to make the figure out because he's just standing in the dark and you can only see his yellow arms and red eyes. And then it says here, the emotional parts are good. Ezra has amazing chemistry with the woman who plays Barry's mom. And I heard people start crying when Barry realized he couldn't save her. It's 1,000% better than the one in the CW. Which, by the way, the Flash CW series, I like the first 2 seasons. I really love them. But I'll admit, the rest of it's terrible. So I am hoping that if you're going to take inspiration from the CW Flash, it better be the first 2 seasons, not the other seasons. But yeah, let's see, what comment was I on? Black Flash is not really the villain of the film. It is Future Flash wearing Black Flash suit. They kind of merged the two characters. It's essentially Future Flash just wearing Black Flash's suit. There are 3 Barrys in the film, and the Barry we see in the trailers, long hair, gets brutally killed by Evil Barry. Future Flash was also him from the future. The film's Future Flash is an amalgam of the comics version of Future Flash and Black Flash. The future Flash is actually just the second Barry long hair, but from the future, his motivation is that when the DCU Barry came into his universe, he ruined everything and destroyed his world. He had gone obsessed into saving his world and keeps trying to reverse time from it getting destroyed, but it fails. So he decides to go after the person who causes our Barry. And of course, we know there is a second Barry. From the little little sneak peek, we did see a Barry Allen with longer hair. But yeah, and then it says Future Flash spent 10 years trying to reverse time and trying to figure out a safe way to stop Zod from destroying his world. And then it says here, Barry was about to go back in time, but Future Barry, tried to kill him and accidentally knocked him out of the Speed Force into an alternate universe, Keen's world. Sasha Gaia's Supergirl is one of the best parts of the movie, with some of it calling the best performance in the movie. That sounds interesting. This is Barry 1. Our Barry got stuck in Keen's world and finds Barry 2, who also has Flash powers, and they both get Keen's Batman and Supergirl to fight a threat, Zod. They lose, and Barry 1 and 2 try to reverse time to save the universe, but it fails. Barry 1 gives up, but Barry 2 doesn't. That's when Future Flash, Future Barry 2 appears, revealing he tried to repeat time multiple times, but it failed. So instead of repeating time to stop this incident, he enters the Speed Force to try and kill the person who caused this in the first place, Barry 1. And it says here, the way Ezra's Barry is portrayed in this film has him act more like a Wally-Bart hybrid when he does Barry in some scenes. Apart from some scenes, Ezra acts a bit like comic Barry. He gets the heart and essence of the character right and only acts like a Wally-Bart hybrid in some scenes, mostly the humor parts, like freaking out like a fangirl when he sees the Batmobile, which we did see that in the little sneak peek. We did see him kind of freaking out when he saw the Batmobile. To be fair, the Ezra Miller Flash is kind of like a Wally West in the Zack Snyder Justice League movie and in the 2017 Justice League movie. He is much younger and he's more vibrant. So it is nice to see that we are going to get that, but we're also going to get more of a comic book version of Barry who's more intelligent. And, I find that interesting. And we do know that part right there is true, that he does fangirl when he sees the Batmobile. And then it says, trust me when I say this, you're going to love Ezra as Barry more than you did in both Justice League movies, which I loved him in the Justice League movies. I even liked him in the 2017 version, which I hate that movie, but I still liked him in that movie. So that's interesting to hear. Zod successfully kills Keaton's Batman and Supergirl. By the way, I'm excited to see Michael Shannon as General Zod. He is my favorite villain in the DC extended universe as of now. To me, he's better than Darkseid, Steppenwolf, Ares, every villain we've had, Lex Luthor. Every villain we've had in the DCU, to me, Michael Shannon, General Zod is still the best. So to see him come back is going to be interesting. And it says here, Zod successfully kills Keaton's Batman and Supergirl. Supergirl gets her neck snapped. It's actually pretty effing brutal. Worse than when Superman snapped Zod. Ooh, now that's tough. Zod kills Cavill's Superman as a baby. Killing Super Baby Leak is 100% true. Michael Shannon reprises his role as Zod. Cage is also not Superman in Keaton's world. It's Cavill, before he got killed as a baby by Zod. It says here, Future Flash and Flash have a massive race because Future Flash wants to kill him. Barry doesn't want to die. When they do that, they travel into the multiverse. We see a shitload of different universes. Pattinson's Batman universe. Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. Adam West's Batman. Grant Gustin's Flash. That one makes sense because we did see Ezra make a cameo in the CW Crisis on Infinite Earth. So are they going to meet again, or is it that exact scene? That's one question I have. But the Pattinson Batman universe, now that's an interesting one. That's interesting right there because the Pattinson Batman universe is very, very limited. Like, if you watch the Batman, you know what I'm talking about. There's no superpowers or anything. It's just, normal world. But anyways, we're going to see what it is. Superman's existence is somewhat left ambiguous. Zod and Fiora are alive in the new timeline since Superman never killed them. Any film and TV show, including Peacemaker, released between Man of Steel and Shazam 2 are set in the old timeline. Shazam 2 is set in the old timeline. Everything after The Flash is set in the new timeline. Green Lantern, Zatanna, Batgirl, etc. Iris is only a cameo in this movie. She only appears at the end when Barry's father is released from prison. Ooh, so he does get released. And it says Warner Bros. Plan is to use Keaton as a temporary replacement for Batman. And after Crisis, which they are leading up to, Pattinson will be the new DCU Batman. Oh wait, no, there's an update. It says update. They now say that that all they know is Pattinson will be involved in Crisis, nothing of whether he will join DCU full-time afterwards. That's a little concerning right there. That's actually one thing I'm concerned about. Why? Because the Pattinson Batman movie, one thing I liked about it is it was its own thing. We didn't mess with it, and I liked it for that. I felt like it was unique to stay alone. But I guess it seems like they're leading up to Pattinson eventually being in a big crossover event dealing with Multiverse Crisis, which sounds completely weird because we just got off the Batman movie that was mainly about, a murder mystery, a grounded noir detective film. So it is weird we're moving on to this. And it says here, person said the blonde girl who got casted in The Flash, Cyrus Monica Jackson, could be playing either a gender-bent Mirror Master or Killer Frost. But that's them guessing because they genuinely don't know. Don't expect any wild cameos. Keep expectations low. I mean, Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, Grant Gustin's Flash. What else was there? Adam West's Batman. Pattinson's Batman universe. That seems like a lot of cameos. I mean, I honestly don't care about cameos as long as you do them well. Just look at Spider-Man No Way Home. They were able to get those cameos of the other Spider-Man, and they did it well, and I like that. And it says here, I feel like overall this film will not only be beloved by general audience, but hardcore Flash fans as well, including me because I'm a hardcore Flash fan. And it says here, The Flash feels more like a classic fiction adventure in the vein of stories like Alice in Wonderland and Wizard of Oz than a typical superhero movie. Ben Affleck's Batman does not die, but isn't part of the new timeline, which that makes sense because they did say that Michael Keaton's going to be the temporary Batman. No reference to Wally whatsoever from what I heard. Pretty brief Reverse Flash cameo. Only hardcore DC fans will notice him. Mainstream audiences will be confused as AF. Yeah, so we are going to get I think everyone expected that because, look, Reverse Flash is kind of like the Joker to Flash. He's the iconic Flash villain that Joker is to Batman, that General Zod is to Superman. You know, every hero has that iconic villain. You eventually have to bring it, and I think it makes sense that they have a cameo. I'm actually glad because when Andy Muschietti first announced that this movie was going to take heavy inspiration from Flashpoint, what I thought was that he was going to do a lot of the Flashpoint movie, with Reverse Flash being the main villain. I'm actually glad they're not doing that, because I think a character like Reverse Flash, you built up to him because he's like the big bad for the Flash. But it is interesting to see Ben Affleck doesn't die. And I'm about to get to my thoughts, but let me read the mid-credit scenes. It says Flash will tell Aquaman that he wonders if Superman exists here too. Aquaman looks at him confused. And then it says, and then it then proceeds to show Supergirl smiling at Barry, and he smiles back. And it shows him looking over what's next to her. His face is full of shock, and the movie ends. Maybe a Cavill nod, but I don't know. I have a feeling that it would be Batman, or the Michael Keaton Batman. And the post credits, this one's the most interesting one. It says Affleck crisis tease, come find us Barry, which is directly from the Nightmare timeline when we saw it in Batman vs Superman, when you had Flash reaching out to Bruce and saying, Bruce, you got to find us, find the rest of us. And then it says less credible regarding Ezra's future. If a Flash recast were to happen, Sam Claflin is someone you can expect to be the new Barry Allen Flash. We're not going to talk about that because that's not what we're here to talk about. But this plot line, now I already see people complaining about, how they're already complaining about how Superman dies. And, Superman is one of the biggest characters in DC. He is the icon at DC. He's a character that you don't even have to be a fan of to know. So there's already people who are respectfully already annoyed with this decision. I've always said this. Never judge a movie based on the ideas, the things you hear. To me, anything bad or anything that sounds bad can be done well. To me, the Lego movie, I never thought that movie would be decent, but that movie ended up surprising me and being very good. Morbius, just recently the reviews were horrible, and I ended up really enjoying Morbius. I liked the movie. There are times where a movie's idea, like The Truman Show. The Truman Show is one of the most iconic movies out there, one of the iconic Jim Carrey movies. That movie sounds stupid when you think about it. A guy who's being followed and has his own TV show and everything in his life is fake. It's all scripted. And he's trying to escape from it. That sounds stupid, but it is one of the most iconic movies of all time. So anything stupid to me, this sounds good. To me, this sounds like they're going in depth with multiverse timelines, all that. Now, there's one thing I do think we should bring up. I think I'm going to search it up right here. Let's see. Oh, hold up. I don't want to do anything that I might mess up. All right. Let's see if I can find it here. Because I'm trying to remind myself what went viral a couple months ago. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. Here it is. You see this image right here? Oh, sorry. You see this image right here? Let's actually look at this image right here. Because this might be in line with what we're hearing from the Reddit plot leaks. If only this loads. It's not loading, but you see right here the image. You can see it right there. For some reason it's loading. I mean, just show me the picture of the turkey, man. I don't need to see so much. Okay, let's try zooming in a little bit. And you're about to see why. So Zack Snyder posted this on Thanksgiving. I remember all my friends, Matt Jarbo, Max, it was like so much drama based on just this singular image. Also, my computer's not loading. Oh my god, why is my computer so slow? But anyways, you guys still see what I'm seeing. There's the turkey. This was posted by Zack Snyder himself. Look what's behind it. Sorry guys, I had to make sure something. Look what's there. The Final Crisis comic book. I don't think that's a coincidence anymore. I remember a couple months ago, there was this big argument if it meant something. It was because look, Zack Snyder's a very cryptic guy. Zack Snyder likes to send cryptic messages. You know, he likes doing that. If you've been keeping up with him for the last year, multiple years or couple of years, you know the guy sends in little messages, little nods. I think that's what that was. Looking at the Reddit leaks, because it does seem, because it makes sense. Because think about it. You have the SnyderVerse. You're now doing a separate Michael Keaton Batgirl movie. You have all this uniqueness, Suicide Squad. DC's doing so much right now from different universes, whether it's the Joaquin Phoenix Joker universe, whether it's the Pattinson Batman universe. You're doing so much. It only makes sense that they lead up to Final Crisis. I genuinely think now, looking at it, I genuinely think this meant something, because there were so many arguments at the time, and I myself just thought, oh, Zack Snyder just put the comic there, because look, Zack Snyder is a hardcore comic fan. He loves DC, he loves the comics, he loves the movies, and so I didn't think much about it. But looking at it now, I think these leaks are true, because it does seem, because remember, there's already been leaks for the last couple of months saying that this movie was going to move away from the SnyderVerse timeline. And I always thought to myself, would they really even erase it? Because they know there's a giant amount of people who love that timeline. And I feel like DC and Warner Brothers would love to at least keep that door open. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Vision, Paul Bettany, of course, Vision dies in Endgame, and then he's brought back in WandaVision. But instead of ending off without having the choice to have Paul Bettany come back, they decide we're going to create this white Vision so that if we ever want to go back to the character of Vision and get Paul Bettany back in that role, we call him up and say, hey, you know what? Let's play this role. Kind of give yourself an option. And I feel like that's what they're doing with The Flash, where they're going to say, hey, we're going to move on. We're going to do something separate. But if we ever want to come back to this, let's go back. And it seems like they're going to go that way, because 2019, I think it was 2019, they had Ezra Miller's Flash meet Grant Gustin's Flash. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but the CW loves doing crossovers and all that. To me, that now means that they were planning something from the beginning. And I genuinely think this is a possibility. And I genuinely think DC and Warner Bros. Wants all of it to come together. And I genuinely believe that looking back at this image, I genuinely think that meant something. There were so many debates about it. There were so many arguments, but I genuinely think Zack Snyder was trying to say, hey, because the reality is, who puts a book in their table, in their kitchen? And he knows he has a large following of DC fans. There's something cooking up. And it does seem like Warner Brothers is doing multiverse, because you got Keaton's Batman and you have Robert Pattinson's Batman together. Then you have that other Superman movie with J.J. Abrams. You have now this new Supergirl with Sasha Calle. You're doing so much that it seems like Crisis on Infinite Earths might be what they're trying to lead up to. I think that is what they're doing. Looking at everything, everything adding up, to me, it only makes sense that they go that route. It seems like they are going that route. That's all I have to say. Now, looking at the script, I like it. The leaks. This looks good. Seeing multiple Barrys, seeing Zod being cool again. The only worry I have is Pattinson's Batman. Them going to the Pattinson Batman universe. One of my worries saying that they're going to go through Pattinson's universe, Linda Carter's universe, Adam West's universe, and Grant Gustin's universe, and etc. So it's going to be more. I wonder if they will go to the Christopher Nolan universe. I doubt it, but if they do, possibility. My only worry is that this becomes kind of like Space Jam 2, which I like Space Jam 2, but one thing I didn't like is that they were constantly they went to the Casablanca universe, the Matrix universe, Mad Max Fury Road's universe. It was so weird and awkward that I felt like it got too gimmicky at one point. And that's what I'm hoping The Flash doesn't do. But that's my only worry. Everything seems good. And look, this is coming from a hardcore Zack Snyder fan. And I genuinely think that Zack knew this all along. I mean, of course they would let him know, or he would figure it out. But I genuinely think that they are building to a final crisis, so that way, not only can you do the SnyderVerse, the Hamadaverse, whatever you're trying to do, you can do all of that and still make it build up to something big. Now, my only question is, it says here the post credits is Affleck crisis tease and him saying, "Come find us, Barry." Now, from what I've heard, people predicting is at this point, Ben Affleck's Batman is in the Nightmare timeline. Because remember, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, Darkseid was coming. He's gonna get the Armada ready and use the old ways, and he was gonna invade Earth. That was the plan, and Barry knows this. So it only makes sense that maybe some time has passed, and now that Nightmare timeline has happened. But the reason why Batman needs his help, or at least the Ben Affleck version, is because, of course, Barry's the only person who can travel through timelines, multiverses, and it makes sense that now they use that as a connection. But my only thing is, wait, so that means that Flash is taken out of that universe, the SnyderVerse, and now is in this new, I don't know what we're going to call it. I'm just going to call it the Hamadaverse. Interesting to see. And it seems like they are leaving the door open. I genuinely think that this was planned ahead of time. I'll say this right now. I think Zack knew this before the Snyder Cut got released. I genuinely believe that there was a conversation that we don't know about, that Snyder, they were all talking about, how do we have all of this? Because Warner Bros. Did seem to want to move away from the SnyderVerse. But seeing this demand for the SnyderVerse and then seeing this demand for stuff that's outside of the SnyderVerse, it only makes sense. And I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking to myself, I genuinely think they want to do both things. The best of both worlds. You got this Michael Keaton stuff, the Sasha Kaya stuff. You have all this stuff right here. But you also have the SnyderVerse stuff. You have the SnyderVerse stuff and you have both of it. And also you have Pattinson's Batman, you have Joaquin Phoenix Joker, the Dark Knight trilogy, everything. You have all this. And you build it up to Crisis on Infinite Earths. The CW, I believe the ratings were incredibly high for the Crisis. I did not like the Crisis on Infinite Earths special. It was horrible to me. It was done poorly. But I believe the ratings were incredibly high. And if you were to do that with movies with much more iconic characters, like Ben Affleck's Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, seeing, I don't know, even Christian Bale's Batman's cameo. I don't know, whatever. I think that would make you a crap load of money, because now you can now satisfy the Snyder fans who are, because look, a lot of people want to deny this, but the Snyder fandom has become much more huge throughout the years. Because I remember back in 2018, actually 2017, 2016, if you were a fan of the Zack Snyder DCEU, you were in the minority. You were like, there is very few of us. And you were basically made fun of by every fandom. But now there are more people in the fandom who, and I still hear this till this day, sometimes I'll literally have subscribers of mine telling me, how was it like during the BVS time? And I'll always tell them, oh, if you liked BVS at the time, you're basically classified a fake nerd or something like that. But it is good because now you have the Snyderverse stuff. You can make money from Zack Snyder's stuff. And Zack Snyder already has everything planned for that universe. And then you can do the Pattinson stuff over there. You can do whatever you want to do with this new Flash universe that Flash builds. This all sounds great. And the movie itself looks good. It looks like a compelling story of Flash trying to save his mother. But he just can't. He just can't. And I'm looking forward to it. The question is, are you guys looking forward to it? Whatever it is, please let us know in the comment sections down below. Do you think that was a true cryptic message from Zack Snyder, or do you think I'm just looking too much into it? To me, I think they are building up to this. It just makes sense. It makes sense why they're doing, because I questioned a couple of months ago. I was questioning, why are they doing so much? Because you have Keaton's Batman, then Affleck's Batman, then you have the Pattinson Batman, then you have Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, Barry Keoghan's Joker. You have all this, and then Linda Carter shows up at the end of Wonder Woman 84. Let's not forget that. I feel like that's the cameo everyone forgets. And then you see what No Way Home did. with bringing in the Spider-Man, knowing how much buzz that got, how much it made in the box office because of that buzz without even having to tell people that was happening. You see all that. It just seems to make sense because you satisfy the Snyder fans, you satisfy the people who didn't like the Snyder movies, you satisfy everyone, and then you're able to build up to something huge if you want to in the future. That makes sense to me. I don't know about you guys, but that to me makes sense. But anyways, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.